All right, my sussy box. You guys decided that you wanted to do this video next. And this is Jalen's video. So interesting.
So there is.
Hey, I didn't ask you to talk yet. Shut up. It's on a channel called Jalen Live, which posts rather infrequently. And interesting. I wonder if Jalen really makes content on their main channel. Jaden, I don't know. Doesn't seem to be doing too well though. But you'll get over the hump. Don't worry.
Recently.
Don't worry, friend. Anyway, I'm curious. So let's see what we got here.
No, you are. You literally are.
Oh yeah, it's just I don't know if I said this, but it's Jalen reacting to an AJudo video about Chris Tyson or something. And I'm going to react to Jalen reacting to AJudo's reaction to this situation. And so this is really high quality content. Let's get it going.
I am not a bigot.
No, you are. You literally are, dude. You can't sit here and pretend that you're not. Everything's demonic. The devil's coming to corrupt us, guys. Why do you gotta put this image in your video? Unless it's a...
What is that?
Transphobic...
That's demons. I'm just kidding.
Dog whistle.
Transphobic dog whistle?
So... what I wanted to talk about today is Chris Tyson, okay? Is this this is more serious music. All right, here's more serious music. All right, here we go. Yeah, it's been a whole month, but I plan on streaming more. As you know, Chris Tyson recently came out as...
Listen, here's my advice, Jalen. Okay. It's hard to remember which one it is. Jalen, Jaden, I don't even know. I don't know which of the personalities is coming out. I'm just kidding. You don't gotta do all this editing, bro. Sis, fuck. Or you're not cis either, you're trans. Damn. Quite a conundrum. Just make it simple, you know? Fuck it. That's what I do. Who cares? I play World of Warcraft.
Is trans. Well, not even necessarily trans, but gender non-conforming, which is in the trans umbrella, right?
Sure.
They're on HRT. They're a trans individual,
that means
and because
they have gender dysphoria, they're trans. Yes.
That Chris Tyson has received an unprecedented amount of hate. Now, I've made several videos talking about this entire situation. There's just like a lot of dumb arguments surrounding Chris. People being like, "Oh wow, Chris shouldn't be trans because Chris has a wife, Chris has a kid, Chris did that, Chris did this. Oh man, Chris made these bad jokes when Chris like 6-7 years ago when."
Some of the jokes are rough. I think that the picture. The shade base video, whatever picture, that one was a little rough. It's a little weird. It's kind of hard to explain that one, personally. The jokes I don't care about because they're in an online edgy space full of a bunch of silly gooses.
That shit was normalized. Oh man, let's go after Chris. Let's cancel Chris. Now, there were some concerning tweets within the mix of those tweets that appear to paint Chris as potentially liking Lolly. However, it turns out that those tweets were, of course, taken out of context. Now, since then, I haven't really seen...
I thought, well, yeah, but didn't they buy, like, pictures from the shade person or whatever and put them in their house or something? I don't know.
Any evidence that like Chris is a weirdo, that Chris has really done anything wrong that really deserves any of this backlash. However, I might be proven wrong. I want to check out this video. All right, it has over 200,000 views, and there might be some new information that I don't know about. I might be completely wrong about Chris. So AJudo, he posted this new video. Chris Tyson keeps getting worse. So like whatever AJudo has here, it must be some serious stuff. Right? This video has 182,000 views. Oh damn. What'd he do?
I already spoke about that.
What'd he do, AJudo?
Him taking HRT. I just found it sad that his kid isn't gonna have a proper father figure growing up. But after that,
who cares?
I talked to AJudo about that. He kind of conceded a little bit that you can get a father figure elsewhere, and that it's good that the parent is happy. So that was good. It was a little weird that they compared, or AJudo compared, trans people to drug addicts. They're like, I don't care if somebody does drugs. I don't care if they transition. And I was like, oh, it's a little different. It's a little bit different, but okay.
Don't give a shit.
Took place, Chris Tyson decided to make it even harder for people to support him as he ended up having a public...
Oh, really? Really? What'd he do? What's the horrible thing that Chris did?
...with a random Twitter user in which Chris Tyson got so butthurt, right? He got so upset over this beef that he flexed $1 million on this guy.
I'm supposed to care?
Damn. I wish I could flex $1 million. I just want money to take my family to Disney. I'm a literal loser. I'm like a Disney... My wife loves Disney, and I just love my wife, so I've got so many Loungefly bags. She recently joined this Loungefly group, and now she's like, oh, she called me. It's like twice today. Oh, should I buy this bag? And I was like, if you want. Like, I'm not going to say no to her. I'm terrible at that. You know, I'm not going to say, no, you can't do that. I'm a fucking idiot. you know, so.
Why does that matter? All right, this is coming from AJudo, who's all like, man, I love Andrew Tate. I love getting the money. I love the grind. And Chris is like, ratio.
Does he love Andrew Tate? I didn't get that feeling from him. He does seem to enjoy the manosphere. He feels like, well, we need a resurgence of real men. And when I told him that Andrew Tate was a sex trafficker, he's like, well, I don't really know about that. I don't want to comment on that. I was like, okay, that's fair. It was fun, though. It was a fun conversation. Move out of the way, you pussy. I'm trying to fucking hit the flight path.
Flex is having $1 million in the bank. Probably not the best move optically, but at the same time,
it doesn't really make sense to me. How do you have exactly $1 million in the bank? You know what I mean? It just seems weird.
This was someone that he was replying to who was literally like photoshopping conversations between Chris and them, being like, Chris Tyson is suing me, guys. Chris Tyson is suing me because I said something transphobic. And so Chris responds to that guy who's like photoshopping this false information. The guy's getting a lot of attention, lots of likes, lots of people just believing that Chris is actually suing this guy. And he just ratios him with this picture of his bank statement, which not the most optical move, but like, I don't really blame the guy. I mean, he's getting a ton of hate for like literally no reason. And so you're gonna sit here and be like, oh man, this is a reason that people just shouldn't support Chris. So it's a lot harder to support Chris now because he flexed on Twitter. Like, wow, big deal. Who cares?
Random Twitter user
Flexing.
to prove a point that we already know, which is that Chris Tyson is rich and richer than most of us. Like, congrats, dude.
That's
so
cool.
I made a video criticizing him on that. But ladies and gentlemen, in the last few days, Chris Tyson, I think he just wants people to hate him at this point.
Really?
Because like, why else would you do this?
Damn. I mean, he must have done something.
I think I know what's coming. I think AJudo didn't like that Christopher Tyson Chicken Nuggets was saying provocative things in response to them receiving like hatred. I think that's what it is.
Something really fucked. Let's see.
Chris
What did
Tyson
Chris
is
do?
posting pictures to his Snapchat story, dressing his 2-year-old son in high heels. You're a Tucker.
It's so funny to me, bro. It was a little weird that it's interesting that you'd have more criticism on the person getting bullied for not responding perfectly than the people bullying the person, right? So I told him that.
Chose to slay this morning. Except, no, he didn't.
Who cares? Literally,
yeah.
Who cares? Why does that matter? Why does that matter? Who cares, dude? You're really gonna get up in arms
I
over
like that
this?
picture.
Tucker chose to slay this morning. Who cares? What? His kid was like, yo, dad, I want to wear these. And so Chris like took a picture and was like, guys, look, my kid chose to slay this morning.
Was that Chris trying to be like provocative at people, or was that Chris just putting a silly picture of their kid up? Because I think that's just like dumb and silly. Like, it's like a silly, dumb, fun picture, you know?
Literally, who cares? Now, I will say
if your kid turns gay from having their shoes on, then that's just wild. Your kid was already gay, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
Like, after this, Chris got like backlash from the crazy transphobes who are like, look, guys, Chris is grooming his kid. He's grooming his kid. And so after that, like, Chris posted a tweet. He removed his profile picture that had a picture of him and his son in it because people were going to such lengths to like attack him and his son and over analyzing like everything. So he posted a tweet saying that he doesn't want pictures up anymore of his kid because of all this backlash that he's been getting. I mean, you can say that maybe people just shouldn't post pictures of their kid on the internet. I think there's an argument for that. I
think it's silly. I don't think that it's not a big deal to post your kid on the internet. We've been doing it for so long. Facebook, all of that stuff. People use it as basically like a scrapbook. I think that boundary has a lot to do with mostly how enthralled by the content the kid is and the creation of that content. Obviously, there's a level of safety, but I don't think that posting your kid on the internet is going to make them unsafe unless you're like doxing them in some capacity. But I think a lot of the issue that I would have is it's hard to communicate, but it's the difference between putting your kid on the internet and like having your kid perform for the internet, right? So it's one thing. Let's say your kid even does they have like a little family channel. I don't think that there's anything inherently wrong with a family channel. And you're like, oh, we're gonna do this stuff, and you're kind of casually vlogging it. It's like, oh, we're gonna go to take a shit now, or not. Well, don't record that. Oh, we're going shopping. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you start trying to get your kid to make certain like movements or behaviors or act for the camera, that's when their life becomes work always. And you're going to start to train your child to interact with their life through the lens of content. And I feel like that's really toxic for a kid, and it's going to poison that kid's mind. And they shouldn't have any access to the likes or anything. They shouldn't see that, because people get like a dopamine charge or some kind of a chemical charge. Like, oh my God, I really like this. You know, when you get a lot of views, it makes you happy. When you don't get a lot of views, it makes you sad. I don't think kids need to be worrying about that type of stress, right? Are there any ethical family channels? I don't know. If there are, nobody talks about them because there's nothing to complain about, you know? Them all crossing the line potentially. One, like I said, I don't think that, like, nobody makes video essays on the good video essay channels. But more than that, I think that a lot of them probably just go down a path of like desperately trying to make as much money as possible and end up like crossing that line. I think that you could create some kind of a family channel, maybe. Well, I don't know about family channels. I guess that's one thing. You can create family content without going across the line. I don't think that that's that big of a deal, you know.
I think people are just like too comfortable like taking pictures of their kid and posting it on the internet without like the kid's consent. A few years from now, maybe Tucker will be like, "Yo, Dad, like I didn't want you taking pictures of me. I don't like these pictures that are up of me." But that's just kind of a problem with social media in general, not necessarily a problem with Chris.
And kids can't do anything without your consent. Take to the doctor or do anything. It's okay if you post a picture. I hate that argument. It's so cringe. Like, just like, oh, my kid couldn't consent to putting a picture on the internet. They're gonna be fine. Like, your kid can't consent to eating bananas either. But like, here we are. Like, we're okay. You're going to be fine. Like, your kid's not going to die because you want to show off your kid. It's going to be okay. We're going to survive. We're going to survive, guys. It's going to be okay. Going to be okay. We'll be all right.
And again, no one would have a problem with this.
In high heels for a picture, even if they weren't trans, because then they would still be like, you're grooming the kid. Blah, and they'd have like a meltdown, even though it's just a silly, dumb little joke.
There's more. Maybe Chris has done actually some stuff that's bad.
This kid can barely do two things: walk and speak. This kid did not spring out of bed at the crack of dawn saying, "Hello, father. Do you have any high heels that I could place on my feet?" Because
yeah, no, of course the kid's not gonna talk like that. It was probably more like, you know, Chris, he's dressing a bit more feminine, right? You know, he's picking his style, right? And they're probably in Walmart or something shopping. And because, you know, the kid's like taking after his dad, probably, he's like, yo, I want these. Probably pointed to them and was like, I want those. This is some weird like conservative shit, right? So like if you have a boy who's like, Dad, I want to wear this dress, and they're like, I want to wear it. You should, as a parent, you should let them wear it. There's literally nothing wrong with that. But of course, these people are going to say that it's like some.
I don't know if I'd let my kid wear a dress. I'm just kind of gay. Oh, the server's down. Kind of gay, you know. But you know, you do you. If you want to do that, that's fine. But
grooming, I don't see the problem here.
This kid's linguistic patterns are still in Goo Goo Gaga tier. You understand, right?
How old is Chris's son?
Things like high heels, and on top of that, the kid.
How do you know that though? How do you even know that? You're again, Cheeto's just making assumptions that probably aren't even true.
Can barely walk properly, so there is no chance he's gonna wear something like high heels, which you need to learn how to walk in. Additionally, you, Chris, decided that you want to take a shoe most often.
Okay.
Why do you got to put this image in your video unless it's a transphobic dog whistle? you gotta love Cheeto's videos.
Worn by women in their 20s or 30s and put that on your little boy's foot. And I wish you would just be honest about it, because if you were being honest, the Snapchat post would read something like, I am a 26-year-old man that is wearing makeup and putting on dresses, something that 99% of 26-year-old men aren't doing. This fact deeply...
Like, do I gotta say anything more about this video? Like, I keep saying, everyone who has a problem with Chris, everyone who's making these commentary videos criticizing Chris, literally the only issue that they got is that Chris is trans. And like, this video just proves that to me. It literally just proves that to me. Like, AJudo is just like straight up blatantly being transphobic here. Like, wow, dude, way to prove the fucking point.
It upsets me and makes me feel alone. So in order to compensate that and to feel validated in my decisions, I'm going to make my little son look kind of like how I look. I mean, this.
Okay, I guess. That's some weird criticism. I think it's just a joke and it's not that deep. Like, if I put my little 2-year-old boy in like high heels, it would be like a joke. Like, look at this idiot wearing girl strut clothes or something. Who cares? This is like, it's just not an issue. It's just kind of boring.
Dude bought high heels the exact size of his little boy's foot. What sort of message are you sending to the world?
If they have too much money, I guess, if that's true.
If he dressed his daughter in high heels, would anyone care? Like, would anyone give a crap?
No, because that's not gay. I don't like it. I don't like boys wearing girl clothes. It's gay. No, personally, I don't care what you do with your kid, but I'm probably not gonna let my kid wear fucking high heels, like, unironically, you know. Like, well, if it's a boy, you know, because I'm just believe in those traditional gender roles, you know. And I'm not going to beat them up if they don't listen to me. But I'm going to say, no, don't. Hey, stop it. No, you know, it'll be okay. I think that most kids will not jump off a cliff if you tell them to stop doing a behavior, you know. Just like, don't do that. I don't like that. So.
No, they wouldn't. So, like, I don't see the issue here.
For anybody who
people keep bringing up Keffels. What happened with Keffels now?
Views your page when you're placing high heels on your son and telling the world about it. This isn't slay, as you put it. This is demented.
This is
demented. To stop what
How is it demented, dude?
Doing and get a grip, dude. Question for the boys watching right now.
AJudo is what happens when you have like a sheltered, like, religious kid who like doesn't go outside, and they go out into the world, and suddenly they're met with demonic forces. The demonic forces of
Cheeto didn't like this criticism very much. So they mentioned it to me. he mentioned it. Sorry, I don't want to get your pronouns wrong, brother. I will say, because I don't mind, AJudo seems like a nice young man. I'm not even kidding. But there was a point where we talked about immigration, and he brought up a frustration he had with immigration. Is that he went to a restaurant, and the person at the cashier didn't speak English, so he had to ask them for an English-speaking person. And then he got annoyed by that, and I was like, "Who cares? Who gives a fuck?" That's just like an interesting to me that like if that's a big problem to you, like that does come off as something that a sheltered person would feel, you know. Being upset that like the guy couldn't speak English, but they had somebody else that could speak English to take care of you. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying.
Real world, and they're just so sensitive that everything's demonic. It's the devil. The devil's coming to corrupt us, guys. It's evil.
What would you feel if you learned just now that when you were 2 years old, 3 years old, or 4 years old, your father was placing high heels on your feet, and then after doing that, he would take pictures of you?
I mean, since I didn't know about it and it clearly had no impact on me, I wouldn't care. Yeah, like, how would you feel if when you were older, something you realize that your family made fun of you? Okay, they already do now. Whatever. We all have fun. Like, I don't think that really matters. Like, my mom got me a Barbie doll once when I was like a kid. You know, I thought it was just like, it was like a silly, funny joke, and then I was young, so I rubbed my penis on it. But you know, that's oversharing, and that's the kind of stuff my wife tells me I probably shouldn't talk about. But yeah, you know, not that big of a deal. Bro, stop fearing me, you fucking bitch! Holy fuck!
Wearing the heels and post that to a
I
Snapchat
literally
story to be seen by millions of people. Would you not just feel violated? Like, if that happened,
violated.
I'm on my phone, I'm texting my dad, "Hey, you got 10 minutes?"
How would you feel violated,
I'm just gonna grill him for 10 minutes straight with these questions as to why he felt that would be appropriate. When this kid turns 18, I hope he sues for damages. Matter of fact, I hope he sues for the $1 million that Chris had the audacity to flex on Twitter. Bro,
is he just kidding a little bit? Because this is a preposterous thing to say. It's a little bit of a silly goose take.
V2 must be feeling vindicated right now.
This is an awful video. I don't know what I expected from AJudo, but
he has gotten weirder and weirder. And the saddest part is there are so
this video is just awful. Like, complete
many people
garbage.
that think and feel exactly how I feel about this.
Like, AJudo is what happens when you have like 2 brain cells and you think you're smart, and so you make videos talking shit on the internet. That's literally what AJudo is.
But they're afraid to say it because of how Chris Tyson looks, and they don't want to come across as transphobic or something like that. They don't want to get labeled as a bigot, and I am not a bigot for simply calling out.
No, you are. You literally are, dude. You can't sit here and pretend that you're not, dude.
Transphobic or
you literally are a transphobic piece of shit. Like, just admit it, dude. Like, I'm tired of people like AJudo, like, just jumping around, like, pretending. Well, guys, I'm not transphobic. Like, I don't want to come off as transphobic, guys. I don't want to come off as transphobic, guys. But I kind of don't like trans people. That's basically what AJudo does. And I just want him to admit it. I just want him to come out and just say it, because it's annoying that he doesn't. That he continues to, like.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, if you're gonna be transphobic, just be proud, loud and proud, baby. I hate those trans people. Disgusting. But I don't do that. It's insane. I use XNXX, but the point is that, yeah, let's move on.
Like, play this fake bullshit line.
Almost every single day that's passed since Sunny V2 dropped his video on Chris Tyson, he has gotten weirder and weirder. And the saddest part
I think it's more that, like, that video bullied Chris Tyson and made more people pay attention to it and be more, like, transphobic and bully them. And so it's probably hurting their mental health. And they're responding, maybe not perfectly, but in a way that a human being would respond, you know? What scriptures are there? Oh, I gotta show this. I think that's more likely. So.
There are so many.
Maybe that's because people like you, ignorant fucks, who like can't accept that. Some people are different. Some people live a different way and don't adhere to a 4,000-year-old book filled with lies. And he's getting harassed for like literally no reason. Maybe that has something to do with it. You know, maybe that's why he's responding a bit harshly to his quote-unquote critics, which aren't really critics. Like, honestly, Chris has handled this pretty well. Like, if it were me in this situation, I would be going off every single day. I would be like,
yeah, that's weird. We definitely know that. Jalen. Definitely know that. You'd be fucking calling everybody the N-word. Fuck you. And then you know, it'd be wild. It's like fucking 2010 Dota. That's what it would be like. It'd be fucking crazy. I'm here for the tea, you know?
Like, fuck you, Sonny V2, you piece of shit. Fuck you, Ben Shapiro, go fuck yourself. Fuck you, Steven Crowder, you divorced your wife, you motherfucker, you closeted homosexual. That's what I would be doing. But Chris is reserved, all right? He's kept it mostly chill. And I praise Chris for doing that.
Chris probably did it a little bit of a better way, it sounds like.
First couple days, maybe Chris was a bit like
you
emotionally
Jaden's
invested
base in this video?
He's
hey,
taking a
base.
step back, which is what you should do in situations like this, because they want to turn Chris into like public enemy #1. That's what these people do.
People that think and feel exactly how I feel about this, but they're afraid to say it because of how Chris Tyson looks.
What happened?
And they don't want to come
What'd
across
you
as transphobic or something like that. They don't want to get labeled as a bigot. And I am not a bigot for simply calling out this bad behavior, because at the end of the day, this is bad behavior. This is not how you should parent.
What bad behavior? Like, what bad behavior? What are you talking about?
This isn't how you role model for your son. This is just all wrong.
Just to be clear, man, people are very comfortable on the internet expressing very transphobic thoughts. I know, like, we want to pretend that, like, oh, I'm gonna get canceled if I say this, but most people are very expressive about it. There is a huge amount of people who are very comfortable saying that Chris is like a demonic goblin or whatever. So, like, I don't like the martyr angle there, where it's like, no, people are afraid to say it. No, they're not. In fact, like, this is the only obsession that conservatives have, is talking about trans issues. Or even gay issues, because it's not even just about, oh, I don't want to go there. It's not even just trans people, it's also gay people they obsess about. That's the only thing they've had to talk about. They don't give a shit about any real policy except saying no to everything and saying gay bad. Like, again, last year they were trying to ban gay marriage. So, you know, nobody's afraid to say this, and I don't really like the martyr angle of, like, I'm not afraid, I'm gonna put my life in jeopardy. No, you're not. All right, you know what's a braver take than trans people are gross? Shane Dawson's innocent. Okay. I would never have that take, me personally, but I'm just saying, you want to be really brave, okay? That's what you have to do. Defend Shane Dawson. So there's your challenge. There's your real challenge. How's that?
But again,
no, you're all wrong. People like you are the reason that queer kids.
No, conservatives don't talk about other things. It's not about me not listening. There is no other meaningful conversation going on from conservatives except for gay and trans people are bad. It's not. It doesn't exist. It's not because I'm a liberal. It's because conservatives have failed this country. Like, I'm just letting you know. This isn't like a debatable topic. There's no other legislation other than like anti-trans bullshit. There's nothing going on. There's no conversations about this bitch has big tits. No conversation about poverty, homelessness, healthcare. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. This is the obsession of the conservative party. This is all it's been about. There's nothing else there. There's no other conversation. It's unfortunate, but that's it. That's all it is. It's all it is. I'm talking about like the mainstream politicians. There's no other thing. This is the primary obsession that's going on. There's no meaningful anything coming out from the conservatives. Oh yeah, but also Russia good. Sorry, I forgot about that. It was a really good point too. Russia's great, and I really appreciate I like seeing Putin on a bear. Makes my penis hard. You know, it's pretty cool.
Kill themselves. You would be a shitty parent. You would. You just would.
It's even worse, right? Because you think it's just him posting his son on Snapchat with high heels. And honestly, if that was just it, I think that would still be enough to call out. But this f***ing weirdo is buying artwork from pedophiles. Mr. Beast sucks.
You know, when you're sitting there saying, this weirdo, you might as well just say what you mean.
He's
just
right,
say
though,
it. Just say it. This T word. Like, say it. Say it. Say it. Say it, AJudo. Say it. Go on. Say it.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be going. They're not wrong about the artwork stuff. I wouldn't really. I wouldn't really, you know.
Posted artwork from disgraced artist known for animated CP.
Damn.
Dude, you are a psychopath. Get help.
I love
okay?
cheese
Admit
pizza.
yourself
A psychopath?
to rehab.
I love these videos because, like, Cheeto just, like, blatantly says, like, just complete, like, bullshit information and makes...
For the sake of Jaden, if you ever watch this, or Jalen, fuck. I would try not to know everything that somebody says, because it's going to make you look like you're biased. Like, I overall agree with you, but it's in this point, like, Chris is a fucking weirdo for buying that. Regardless of whether it's an edgy joke or not, it's still very inappropriate to buy that art. You know, so they are a fucking weirdo for that. There's no two ways about it.
all these crazy ass bullshit assumptions. Like, you can't just be like speaking like this on shit that you don't know anything about. Wow, guys, Chris Tyson is a creep. Chris Tyson's weird, bro. He's a weirdo. He's a psychopath. This is like the issue with commentary YouTubers. You can't just be throwing words like that around.
Now,
Anyway.
I would have been charitable to Chris Tyson here and say, oh, he's just joking.
Okay, actually, I do want to play this part. Okay, so this is the...
Oh, you just play the whole part.
This is the art that, like, Chris bought from Shadman back in, like, 2016. I went over that in another video, and honestly, it does seem like this was bought as some sort of joke. I can't really go into, like, any details, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. And now, so Achido here says, I would be charitable, but because he posted his kid wearing shoes that I deem to be weird, that's out the window. Now, Chris is a pedophile.
Tyson is an EDP, or he's a confirmed pedophile, or anything like that, because that would just be straight up slander. But, like, look at the series of events.
Yeah, but you're alluding to it. You can't just wiggle your way around. I'm not saying this, guys. I'm not saying that. That's like me being like, yo, I'm not saying Achido is a massive piece of shit, guys. I would never say that. But, like, that's what you're doing. You're doing exactly that.
That I'm bringing up here. Can you not just look at this and think, wow, this is straight up weird? Having an NSFW anime girl painting that was painted by a pedophile hanging up in your house while your kid, who you're putting in high heels, walks around that house. Yeah, no, you're strange.
The high heels are just not relevant. But yeah, the fact that that picture was up for, I don't know if it's still up. I'm assuming it's not up anymore. It's definitely bizarre.
You are a weirdo. And I said this earlier, but it's so true that people are genuinely afraid to say anything negative about this guy because they think that they'll be canceled, or they think...
You're literally doing just that. What are you talking about? What world are you living in? People are talking constant shit about Chris. They're talking constant shit. Millions of views. Sunny V2's video got like what? How many views does that have? 6.8 million views, where he just throws in a bunch of like transphobic dog whistles, says that, oh, the silent majority is not gonna support Chris and that Mr. Beast should drop his friend, or actually no, he says he pushes the argument that Chris, if he wants to save Mr. Beast, if he wants to do the right thing for Mr. Beast brand, ideally he should quit Mr. Beast. And you're gonna sit here and...
Well, more than that, he push this idea that they only transitioned to like a like a virtue signal to pull more viewers in or something weird like that. It's fucking bizarre as hell.
Say that people are scared to criticize Chris. Really, that's what you're going to say. I hate
this
argument
argument.
These right-wing motherfuckers, they'll be like, oh man, these people go trans because they don't want criticism. If you criticize a trans person, you're canceled. No, that's not the issue. You criticizing them is being transphobic. That's not criticism. Transphobia is not criticism. Now, if you want to say, hey, Chris did this thing I didn't like let's say Chris Tyson, I don't know, punches Mr. Beast or something. No one's gonna be like, wow, you criticizing Chris for punching Mr. Beast? Yo, that's transphobic. No one's going to say that. But when your critique of Chris is Chris shouldn't take HRT, Chris shouldn't be in Mr. Beast videos because Chris is trans, Chris shouldn't have come out as trans, Chris should have stayed with his wife, Chris is selfish for being trans. If that's your criticism, that is transphobic, and you deserve to be called out for that. That's the difference, and it should be obvious to you.
I think that they'll be like labeled as a bigot or a transphobe or something if they even levy the smallest crumb of criticism toward this guy. And I have to say, if
also I find it funny because
well, I mean, like, the problem is that there's been no real reasonable criticism. I mean, you could be like, oh, I think the shoes on the kid was like annoying. That's fine, but like, what other real criticism has there been from Chris that's like reasonable or intelligent? I mean, that's the real question here. What is this? Yeah, there's just not really a lot going on, so that's what makes it transphobic. Because it's silly goosery.
I made a video literally talking about these old tweets.
Literally.
I literally made a video criticizing Chris Tyson. Like, I don't have an issue criticizing Chris Tyson. And if those tweets were serious, it would have been valid. But those tweets were jokes. They were taken out of context. Very blatantly taken out of context.
That's how you feel. Genuinely, you're a coward. You're spineless. You are a snail. You have no spine. You live in your shell hoping that nobody comes after you. And I have zero respect for that, okay?
That's exactly how I feel about AJudo. I have zero respect for
a spineless
so once again,
snail.
Chris literally did nothing wrong.
Okay. Cool. Interesting video.